Isabel was a girl who was raised in the church. When Isabel was 14 years old, she got baptized. But shortly after that, she no longer wanted to attend church and decided to turn to the world. We always fought to give her the best. And suddenly, we began to see Isa in a state that was deeply saddening for us. She started transforming into what you see here. She started hanging around with bad influences and started to change. She started drinking heavily. I remember once she came home vomiting, reeking of strong alcohol. She started using various drugs like marijuana, cigarettes, and hand-rolled cigarettes. She smoked a pack a day and also used synthetic drugs. Then, she got involved with someone who was also a drug addict. He also used marijuana. Our despair only grew. It seemed like the more I went to church, the more vows I made, and the more I prayed, the worse Isa became. That was the impression. What hurt me the most was the fact that she no longer called me mum. When she would refer to me to her father, she would say, "That woman," and it hurt me. It hurt terribly. I'd say, "It's not fair. It's not fair because she's my only daughter." I remember once I went in for surgery and she left me alone at the hospital. She would come home drunk and high. She used drugs inside the house. And that, to us, felt like a direct attack. She'd look me straight in the eye and say, "I hate you. I don't even know why you're my mum. So many other people could have been my mum, but you had to be my mum." She was so aggressive. The hatred became so intense that once she physically attacked me. That moment, I believed, was my rock bottom, as a mother and as a Christian.
What was that moment like?
It was terrifying. My husband had to intervene and pull Isa off me.
The battle we faced with our daughter Isabel. It was. There were several moments where we realized that only God could give us strength. Because apart from having the struggle of trying to hear from her, and she would often go missing for 3-4 days with no contact. But we held on to our faith.
I fought for her from the age of 14 to 28. That's many years of chains of prayers, many vows. I just had it within me to never give up. Like the persistent widow, I would knock and knock, bother and plead, believing that one day the situation would change.
Did you ever think of giving up?
Never. Not once. Never. Because I knew the God I served. I knew the altar on which I laid my vows for her. I heard many people say I should kick her out, that I was suffering because she had everything, and still turned away. Until one point, I was so exhausted that I got revolted. I said, "Enough, this can't go on." After so many years, I said I needed to do something to truly call God's attention.
Mrs. Thais, I'd like to understand. What's the doll doing here?
Well, this cutout. I was inspired by faith. I'm not saying that if someone else does this, it'll work for them. But It was something that I and her dad did in faith. Since she was raised in church, I used to sit there with us, and suddenly wasn't there anymore. I said no. We made a cutout in her likeness. There were times I'd bring it and sit it next to me, and people would stare, thinking I'd lost my mind from all the problems.
Was it an act of desperation?
It wasn't desperation. It was an act of faith. It wasn't desperation. I had already done several campaigns for her. Every campaign I did was for her spiritual life. Then there was one campaign where I said, "This is it." God asked me for something that, humanly speaking, cost me dearly. But I made the decision with my mind, not my emotions. I decided to follow exactly what God asked. I had a business that I fought over 10 years to rebuild. I sold it. I sacrificed it on the altar for her.
Who asked you to do it?
It was God Himself. No one told me to. No one advised me to. It was God Himself. I had just regained control of that business, and God asked for it, so I gave it. I went to work in that business as an employee, the very business that used to be mine. I went to work there as an employee. Going up to the altar is not as hard as staying there. You have to remain steadfast in faith. I told God, I don't want her for me. I want her for Him. Her life was on the altar. And 3 days after that vow,
There was a response?
she left the house. That's why I say there are 3 stages. The descent, which is the stage of perseverance. I said, we are on the right path. Be at peace. No one can take that certainty from me. Not even hell could take that certainty from me. I told the devil, you may have taken her, but you'll be forced to bring her back. Until one day, I got a notification. I received a phone call on 17th December 2023. Isa died. But it was this Isa here. This Isa.
This is the new one?
Yes, this is the new Isa, because the old one no longer exists.
Thank God I'm truly well now. I'm genuinely alive because for many years I was dead inside. If it weren't for my parents' prayers and God's protection, I probably wouldn't be here. I spent years trying to fill a void that was exactly the size of God. I gathered all the drugs I had at home. Just a small box. I threw everything out. I needed to bury the old Isabel. Everything I lived, everything I did, everything I felt, there in the baptism pool.
And that Isabel died.
Thank God she died. And now I know why I was born and for whom. Today I have true peace. I don't need anything else. All the crutches I used to fill that emptiness, drugs, parties, relationships, they mean nothing to me now.
Today, she calls me Mum, even Mummy. Today we talk about the things of God until 2 or 3 in the morning, which was my dream, to talk about the things of God with her. This is a different Isa. She was truly born again.
To see her sitting beside you, not the doll.
I always had that certainty. We kept the photo because we knew that through our perseverance, God's justice would be fulfilled in her life and ours.